Hey, welcome to the shop. So this is the new welding table. It's going to be the backbone of so many projects that are coming down the line on TIM welds. This is a Siegmund 3-foot by 4-foot welding table, and rather than cast iron, it's made from through hardened steel. Now, this isn't just a table, it's a full fixturing package available from Quantum Machinery. We're going to go into all of the different parts that come with it, as well as some of the features on this table. This thing is really heavy, and so it took a little bit of thought and creativity to get it moved over here and set up. Let me show you how I did it. So I had it dropped off with a residential liftgate delivery, and on top of the tabletop is a box that has all of the accessories as well as the legs. We'll take a look at these once we get everything put together. Now the tabletop itself is sitting right there on that pallet, and it weighs right around 500 pounds, so lifting it up, even with the help of some buddies, isn't really going to work. My plan is to use this lifting lug that they have available separately. It attaches to the center of the table there, and then I'm going to try to get an engine hoist under to lift it up. Getting that hoist in place is going to take a little bit of creativity. All right, well, this thing is a beast. So if it were any larger than this size table, I think it would have been worth it for me to rent a forklift or phone a friend with a tractor to help me out with it. But we got the job done here. Now I'm gonna walk through some of the features of the table itself, and then we'll take a look at all the accessories that are part of this package. Now this table has 5/8 inch diameter holes, that's right around 16 millimeters, that are spaced 2 inches apart on center. In addition to that, it has this grid pattern in between the holes to help line things up, and a nice ruler on the side so you can keep track of where you are, and it can help speed things along during layouts. Now on the side of the table, there is a vertical surface, and it has 3 rows of holes, which gives additional fixturing options. Each of the holes has a nice round machined on top, and a chamfer on the bottom. That chamfer is a really important feature because it allows you to use these fixturing bolts that we'll show you here in a minute. Now all of the pieces are right around a 1/2 inch thick, and it's constructed with these stiffening ribs that you can see here underneath. This is their 8.7 series table, which means it's out of hardened steel. I wanted to test that in some way, and so I hit it with this thick-walled tubing, which put a pretty good ding in the tubing, but I couldn't see anything on the table, so I tried doing it again even harder, and this time I could see a small mark, but it wasn't really indented. That means this is going to hold up really well. The table has a nitride surface treatment, which increases the hardness of the surface and prevents weld spatter from sticking. Now let's take a look at all the items in this package from Quantum Machinery. There are 4 uprights, 4 of their pro-level clamps, a dozen of these bolts, 8 stops, a full maintenance kit. We'll take a deep dive into each one of these and show you some ways that you might be able to use it. These bolts are going to be really nice to have. If you haven't seen these quick fastening bolts like this, the way they work is they have these ball bearings that when you loosen it, they retract in, allowing you to insert the bolt into a hole. When you tighten it, the ball bearings expand out, and on the bottom side, that's where this chamfer is important, because those ball bearings push out using the chamfer as a ramp to tighten things down. Now when you take this apart and look inside, the way they work is really cool. It has a larger ball bearing that pushes down, and that's what spreads those other small ones out and allows the whole thing to work. And these are really strong. In fact, it was these bolts that held the whole table up during assembly. Now let's take a look at these clamps. There are a few things that are really smart about this that I like. So first of all, they have the 5/8 inch diameter binding posts on them, and they're adjustable both vertically and horizontally. The The vertical position can lock into place with that knob, and then you are able to adjust the horizontal position. Now, not all clamps do this, and it's really nice because then you can hit different spots along your material from one hole without having to move around between holes and try to line it up and swing it around, which can be difficult, and that's been frustrating on some other clamps that I've used where you can't adjust it in that horizontal direction. The rest pads on these clamps pop off, and you can actually turn them over and insert them into the holes and use them as rest pads, as well as get different types of ends for the clamps. Now, the nut itself is also removable out of the clamp, and after you take the screw out of it, you can take this over and install it into, say, these uprights here, and use that with the screw to be able to push on things or clamp them in different ways. So it's really nice that you have the flexibility to reconfigure the clamps and do different things with them. There are 8 of these stops, and they can be used in a variety of different ways. Let me show you a couple different ways. So first of all, if I wanted to have a repeated setup to be able to make that angled steel, and I'm going to make it over and over again, I can use these grid lines on the table to be able to line up the stops and put them in place. That way I can set the tubing in place, make a piece, and then repeat that over and over again, just clamping it wherever I need to. Now, if you take a look at the actual part itself, these are chamfered on the hole, which allows you to install that bolt into it. So I'm able to use one and attach another one to it, and I can stack them up one on top of another over and over again. These angle brackets are really a highlight of this kit, and they allow you to do a lot of different things. So on the bottom there's a slot which you can use to attach it to the surface of the table, and then you can slide it forward and back to position it however you need to for your setup. You can also take these and turn them sideways and install them right onto the edge of the table. Notice how these also have a ruler marked on the side of them, which is really nice if I want to put them up on a different plane. Right now I can just lock it in at the same height, and then I can use the 5/8 holes in those to put in clamps, and they're also machined with that chamfer on the bottom to accept the bolts. Let me show you an example of how nice it is to have 4 of these to set up 2 parallel surfaces. See right here I'm using these grid lines to line up one plate, and then I'm putting another plate in place. This is for a dimple die press that I'm going to be building on the channel here pretty soon. Now with the other set of brackets in place, I know that I have the 2 plates sitting perfectly parallel, and I'll be able to tack them and weld them in place and keep everything straight. This maintenance kit is also really nice. It comes with a T-handle Allen wrench to tighten the bolts, as well as a wire brush that's sized perfectly for cleaning spatter out of the holes, and a little cable or torch hanger. There's a bottle of anti-spatter, as well as another spray bottle that has some cleaner that's made just for the table.
All right, well, this is the setup we're going to be using here in the shop going forward. It's going to be really nice, and it's the perfect size table for a shop my size, especially given that I can extend it out with some of these brackets when I need a little bit more length. Now, as a reminder, Quantum Machinery is where to get these. They have tables in all different shapes and sizes, as well as an endless variety of different accessories for them. And they come in different series, like this is the Series 16 with these 5/8 inch holes. They also have a Series 28 with much larger diameter holes for really heavy duty stuff. So be sure to check them out. Thanks a ton for watching. If you learned something or enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that thumbs up below. We'll see you next time.